Ready? All right, time for a little bit of midday mobility. So if you've been sitting a lot this morning or sitting a lot today or recently, I'll invite you to just join me in some movements that are going to activate the muscles that are at what we call the posterior chain of the body, so the muscles in the back of the body that tend to get a little shut off and inhibited and maybe even a little bit lazy in some of those areas that we haven't been asking to work if we've been doing a lot of sitting, okay? So find somewhere that's comfortable. Do make sure you've got lots of space around you. Also, of course, a little disclaimer, do make sure that you check with a health professional to make sure that any activity, especially our activity, is going to be suitable for the current condition and fitness level that you're in. And of course, listen to your body, take a break anytime that you feel you need to, join in whenever you're ready. All right, so let's just start off. Feet are hip width, let yourself shift forward and back, feel the weight on your heels, shift the weight to your toes, and just continue back and forth in that way, heels, toes, and then come to some stillness. Let's start to roll those shoulders back. Your feet are wherever you feel is comfortable. I want you to think about the areas of the body that get kind of tight. So the muscles at the back get a little kind of long and loose and inactive. The muscles at the front of the body get short and tight. That's the chest, the shoulder, the front of the hip. So we're going to roll those shoulders back and just be aware of and feel some of that opening in the front of the shoulder and the chest. Begin to make that circle bigger. We're only about 10 minutes or so. This is an easy movement series to fill in or plug in anytime that you have 10 minutes and just feel like you need to get moving a little. If your space permits, give yourself a little backstroke here. And notice that I'm letting the rest of my body move a little bit. My knees are a little bent. I'm paddling as such backwards. Change direction. Little front crawl. Good. Come on down. Let's let yourself shift side to side. So feel your weight go to one foot. Feel your weight go to the other foot. What I'd like you to notice, two things. One, feel how the weight transfers to your foot. Get the whole foot active. Heel up to all the toes. Heel to toes. Side to side. Awesome. And then second, notice where your alignment is. And what I mean by that is when you lean to one foot, make sure you're not tipping way over, but rather just keeping your body centered over that standing leg. Maybe starting to feel a little bit of core engagement. Bring yourself to stillness. Just settle a little bit. Let's come down into a squat. Reach those arms up. Hinge at the hip, of course. Press your hips back and open the arms into, might be kind of a W, a goalpost, or a Y. And squeeze the back of the shoulder. So that bridge that I often will call it, a bridge between the shoulder blades. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and then release. Squeeze together and release. Now we're coming straight up and down here. I'm going to invite you slowly to go on an angle. Watch. First, maybe sit down. You'll notice this heel, this one, is going to lift just a little bit as I sweep and reach. Now I'm just doing essentially the same kind of motion, but on an angle. Remember, we're trying to get the muscles at the front of the body to really lengthen, right? Up. Let your breath go. 3. Good. 2. Last. Okay, everybody. Center yourself. Go straight up and down again. Your weight should now be even over both feet. Again, you go take your arms where they need to be. Maybe they need to be a bit lower, right? Your shoulders are going to tell you what they need. One more. Now you're going to the other side, right? On that little bit of an angle. Now remember, it'll be this heel that lifts off a little bit and reach. Sit down and reach. Lengthen up. Think of the front of the hip, the chest, the shoulders lengthening and opening. Exhale. Good. 3 and 2 and last. Awesome. Back to center. I'm hoping you're starting to feel a little bit warmer. I know I am. Switch your stance a little wider, toes out just on a little bit of an angle. Sit back, collarbones open, set down with the shoulder blades, abdominals are pulled in. Shift side to side. So again, when we're seated, we have that narrow position of our hip. We lose a little bit of that mobility in the hip joint. So you can make this bigger if that suits you. If it doesn't feel comfortable, bring your feet a little bit more narrow, make your motion a bit smaller. So let's fold over to one side. Doesn't matter which side you're at. Sink into that bent knee side a bit more. Do you feel some lengthening through here? Good, up. Sink the other way. Again, midday mobility, we're just trying to get, not just like it's not important, but our goal simply is to get the areas of the body that tend to be short and tight in their muscle position. While you're sitting, we're trying to just get those active. And lift. Good. And what's so cool is how it feels in our mind as our body begins to get a little bit more mobile. So as we get our heart rate up just a little bit, as we start to get our body moving, we've got a good positive impact on our mood. 2 more. Good. Last. Awesome. Center yourself. Walk those feet in. Nicely done. Let's just give those shoulders a little roll here. Big figure 8 arms, or a smaller one if that's what your shoulders need. Down, open. Down and open. Good. 3, 2, last. Okay, we're going to target in 2 areas right now. Front of the hip, chest and shoulder. So you can stay this way. I'm going to turn this way so you can see what we're up to. I'm going to stand really tall. I'll invite you to do the same. Head's looking forward. I'm going to turn a little bit so I can see you though. And you might, I have a wall in front of me here. I'm going to put my fingertips on the wall for a little bit of balance. We're going to activate through the glutes, which will help open the front of the hip. Extend the leg you're moving. I want you to push that heel down. And then take the toes and turn the toes out just slightly. Extend and back. So that's what it looks like from the front, and then from the side, out, back. Exhale. So what I want you to do is relax the abdominals. We want to disengage the low back. I want you just to focus on the glutes. This area of the body does get shut off quite easily if you're sitting a lot. And then what happens is the low back actually takes the strain and the stress that these glutes should be, or takes the work, I should say, that the glutes should be doing. These are really strong muscles. They should be doing a lot for you. But if they're switched off, your low back's going to take that work. 3. So we're just switching them back on. Last one. Nice. Give a little shake, whichever way you need. Change sides. So do lengthen up tall. And before I turn to the side, remember the foot position. Back, slightly out. Not so much so that I've turned my body, but just extend just that little bit. So we'll turn here with you now. Extend, activate those glutes, right? Squeeze, release. Squeeze, exhale. Hold, hold, hold. Good. So again, I want you to think about just kind of relaxing, wiggle everything else, and really focus on the glutes. So we'll often use the cue if you had pants on that were kind of, if the band of the pants are at the waist, not if they're down here, but if the band of the pants is here, the back pocket area, that's where I want you to activate. Out, back, good, 4, 3, 2, awesome. Release, come on back to center. Give me some little knee lifts here. Stretching out the glutes you were just using. Excellent. Not too many. We don't want to start to activate through here too much, but I just want you to let that tightness go there. Now, stand tall. We're going to bring the arms up to goalposts. So that would be where there's like a 90-degree angle, right? And then I'll invite you to go wherever you need to. So the guide, or what will tell you where you need to go, is how the shoulder feels. So if we start to lift and this happens, your shoulders shrug up, we need to go a little lower, and we need to pull the shoulder blades down. So let's start, think of goalpost, go to a W, Okay? Now let one arm, your hands are forward, thumbs to the sky, like I'm going to shake your hand. And you're going to let one arm come down as far as it'll go. That's as far as my arm will go. If I did any more, this would happen. So I don't want to do that. And then we're going to switch. That's it. Take your time, everybody. Activate the bridge. That's the muscles between the shoulder blades. You give those a little squeeze. And take your time. Notice how the shoulder feels. Again, if you need, bring everything down a little bit lower. A little bit lower. If you're flying through that really easy peasy, then let those arms lift up a little bit more without the shoulders shrugging, right? So you're still really tall through the torso. Abdominals are probably engaging a little bit. Little bit of activity for those shoulder rotators. Now, just one more each way. So one this way, one this way. Bring the arms down, let them go. Let's give a little stretch. Take one foot ahead of the other, just a tiny step. Palms to the front or facing here, open. So stretch through. I'm going to invite you to let your head look up. So again, if you've been at your computer today, you've been looking this way, right? But I want you to take yourself and look up. Exhale, look as high as your neck will allow. So if you start to lift and there's neck discomfort, of course don't go that high. But if you can, look up. Back to center, folks. Arms go to so you look like a letter T. A little bit, so I don't hit my hand there. And squeeze the mid back again. Look up. Exhale. Feel that great opening through the chest. Release. Change feet now. Put the other foot forward. Now, as high as your arms allow you. Okay? And then we're maybe into that Y. Open. Look up. Tighten the abdominals a little bit, folks, to protect that low back. Hold. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Release. Come back down. Take a deep breath. Inhale. Let that go. One more. And let that go. Awesome. And we're all done. I hope you feel a little bit more mobile, a little bit warmer. Great opportunity now to go grab a sip of water. Stand outside if you possibly could for a few moments before you head back to your desk. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.